right, I'm going to go ahead and read the first question. Ethan, as you were experiencing your road to recovery, what community and VA services worked for you?
One-on-one therapy with the mental health counselor there at the VA, peer support groups there at the VA, CPT, the cognitive behavioral therapy support group at the VA. Then there's also a cognitive behavioral therapy booster group that I still go to. Anger management that also helps. Peer support, which is led by youth, and that really helps too. That I still attend. Inpatient at the VA hospital. I had lived there when I really kind of had a tough time. That's where I went and stayed at the VA hospital for 5 days for inpatient. And honestly, that kind of opened my eyes up to see how there's this concept, this stereotype, the stigma that's wrong about going to inpatient mental health hospital. It's not my experience of it was me like slowing down and pausing, finding myself, you know what I mean? With the combination of all the services I received at the VA along with the inpatient, I say the hospital is really when I had a chance to kind of slow down and focus more. I don't know if it makes sense. And even though there was people there, I guess were in worse shape than what I was in at the time. I guess you see that as like a wake up call, you know. It's like, hey, I'm not, you know, jacked up as I thought it was, you know. I can keep going about that. I'm not going to keep talking about that. I'll leave that alone. But yes, all the programs I went through had its purpose to help me come up out of the slump I was in. You know what I mean? It's like, the way I kind of see it is like I was going through a, put it this way, I was going in a straight path, right? But I bottomed out. I went to start going down, spiraling down, and continuously spiraling down. And then I started to come back up and rising back up from going to the services the VA provided me and the community programs. I had to do it. It wasn't anything that anybody else could do for me. It had to be me willing to make the effort and willing to support the work to get better. You know what I'm saying? So when I did that, I started coming up out of the, you know, suicidal, homicidal ideations, and negative and depression. Not able to leave the house and not able to talk, and you can come here and do this. All those programs contribute to me being where I am now. So the way I see it, every program I went through in the VA helped me, and community-wise thing to help me to make progress. Does that make sense? Okay. Also, I'm sorry. Also, I did the MOVE program through the VA. I did telehealth where I took the, like the lady was talking about in the conference. I took the system home plugged into the phone jack and then it monitored my health status because I was getting overweight. I was depressed, eating a lot, you know. So it helped me regulate. So that's what I'm saying. Not only the mental health, but physical wise, I needed that as well because my life skills didn't know anything. You know, I had to relearn how to live again. I don't know if that makes sense. Primary care at the VA, that made sure I made my appointments because that was important for me to gain my strength back for the physical injuries that I was dealing with. And then I went to intensive outpatient therapy at Breakout. I don't know if I mentioned that. For veterans at Newburgh. But, okay, I'm done with that. I'll shut up. hard for me to go into the community. I don't know why. It seemed like it was easier for me to go into the veteran-based organizations that seemed more at ease in the community was not being as nervous or as anxious and having a panic, but, you know, attacks or whatever by going to the VA. It kind of seemed like it kind of provided some kind of comfort zone for me to support it for other veterans. But now I've challenged myself to go out in the community. So in addition to finding all this stuff I have to the VA now, I'm exploring out with it. You know, Jonesboro and beyond, you know, whatever is available. I would give a drive that is where I have to go. I'm seeking it, you know, before I wasn't, and now I am. So I feel like that's strengthened me and allowed me to get more high or get stronger. I'm up to 36. Yeah. I'm going through Bridges as a horse therapeutic program where now I'm taking my kids, I'm involved in them in my rehabilitation that I'm trying to, you know, do for myself and my family, family members, especially my kids. I want them to be able to have the access to, you know, a therapeutic settings if, you know, they need it. I want them to be able to receive it. I went through parenting classes that helped me out a lot because I want to be a better parent. Not that I'm terrible, but, you know, but I have room for improvement, you know, and I'm still trying to seek more things to do with my kids, you know, make sure I'm providing a nurturing or growing environment for them, you know, productive people as they grow up. So, yeah. Can I answer that? All right.
Does anybody have any questions they would like to ask Ethan about the one we just went over?
Yeah, question. You talked about your children. Are you married?
No, I'm divorced.
Okay, so does the mother, is she involved with the children as well?
Yes, she is, but I tried to rekindle the flame, but I destroyed that. That was my doings. I'm sure I was hard to get with.
One thing that you didn't say is, backing up, what was the point that you decided you had to get help? Basically, the straw that broke the camel's back and said, I can't do this anymore, I got to get help. Or was there a lot of things?
There was a combination.
Okay.
What's the correct term? Comorbid? Is that right? Comorbid. Yeah, that would describe it. So it seemed like it was all piled up.
So you got divorced after the military then?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, that's another story. Good God.
I mean, the issues caused, what caused it?
Yeah, it was right on.
Are you guys making any headway getting back together?
I don't feel like it at all.
Because if she
Maybe
sees
it
a
is.
different person, I'm thinking, she may see the guy she married versus the guy she divorced. If you're making headway.
And that may be me having my own biases, my own blinders on, and I'm not able to look outside the box, you know what I mean? But me, I don't think I am.
Don't be your worst enemy.
There you go.
And this young lady had a question for you.
Actually, just a comment. I just wanted to say that I'm really glad to hear that you are trying to provide positive things for you and your children to do, because regardless of the relationship with a child's mother, you have a very important part in your children's lives.
Yes.
And I can tell you, I'm the child of a combat veteran, and these services were not available, of course, when I was a kid. I'm not telling you how old I am, but just say a long time ago.
25.
I'm over 25. So, but you're doing that with your children, so they're part of your recovery, and they're also recovering too.
Exactly.
And so that's very, very, very commendable. So good job on that.
All right, thank you. And that's what I was, now, I even tell Daryl that in support groups, I'm like, man, sometimes I'll just wake up or any moment, all of a sudden, I'll get hit with like a feeling of like I want to spray out, start crying, and I don't know it. would think as a man, I'm not supposed to be wanting to cry sometimes, but sometimes I just wish I could just cry. I don't care if it's in front of everybody, you know. I mean, it would feel better, but it feels like I'm getting my feelings and my emotions are hitting me like I should have had all along, but for the longest time I went numb to feel anything. You know, and now I'm starting to feel again. What it does, it makes me feel like when I have those feelings, it makes me be more sensitive to what other people's emotions and desires or motivations are. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Okay. Before I didn't care any fact about it. I was too self-respecting of myself, you know, or just didn't feel anything at all. Especially when I was in service, you know, I didn't want to be classified as sick, lame, or lazy, so you know, be macho man, keep on moving forward. You know. Now I'm trying to spread my wings and develop, you know, and get y'all to be better man, person to be around.
Do you think some of the qualities that you're talking about that led to your drinking and drugs, do you think some of those characteristics were present in you, within your makeup before?
No, ma'am, I'm not going to say it was because I was always health nut, but I played sports, football, basketball. Actually, I had a scholarship to play football. I was always cared about that.
So you're saying your Army service, then, I mean, what you went through in Iraq, were you Iraq or Afghanistan?
Persian Gulf.
Persian Gulf. Okay. It was your experiences there that more or less broke you down?
In my opinion, and some of the emotional situations and, you know, psychological things that I went through, I was trying to, what's the word, self-medicate.
Yeah.
Makes sense?
Yeah. Macho Man couldn't admit to anybody he needed a doctor, so he medicates himself.
There you go.
Yeah. He can do all and knows all.
Where was I wrong?
We're going to move on to the next question. Okay, this one, Ethan says, what barriers did you encounter when attempting to obtain services, and what did you need that you could not find?
You need to speak up a little bit if you can.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Thank you.
You know, that's a tough one. Not trusting anybody, not wanting to open up or not wanting to take a chance to allow myself to seek help. I don't know if it makes sense. And even when I went for the help, I didn't allow it to sink in, or I didn't take in. I wasn't receptive to what was being given to me. You know what I mean? Like, I was there, but I wasn't. You know what I'm saying? I was present, but I wasn't listening. I had to stop putting up barriers or walls and my own uneducated biases and ways or whatever, the things that I was going through wasn't really right. I had to take advice from somebody who was more educated or who had more life experience or more guidance to that. Like a mentor, you know what I mean? I had seen the mental health help and all the different advices that I was receiving. I had to look at it like, okay, these people are excellent at what they do. This is a job. They're professionals. I need to stop making things difficult, and I need to stop, you know, acting like my way is the best way. And, you know, I was my own worst enemy. I don't know if it makes any sense. I don't know if I answered that right.
That's good.
Okay. It's true, though, you know.
That's good.
If I can follow up, when you answered that question, you talked about your personal things that made it difficult for
Yes,
you.
ma'am.
Were there external factors, you know, not from you, but from us or from the organizations that made it difficult?
That's a good point, yes, ma'am. I wasn't aware of triggers. I didn't know how to have good coping skills to deal with all the triggers and things that I was dealing with. Or I wasn't even aware exactly of myself or what triggered me. I had to learn, what it was that ticked me off and what it was that I get upset about. You know what I mean? I had to slow down and think about things a lot more. Like I had to pause and take my time. Like for example, this morning, I got in the car and didn't even have my shoes. Didn't even have socks in it. Or I had flip flops. So I had to go and get shoes. I mean, it's just socks. I mean, it's little things like that. Used to have to be freaking ticked off by anymore. I'm just trying to slow down and tell myself, you know what? I'm only human. It's an accident. I forgot. I was anxious. Just gotta breathe. Deep breathing, pray, whatever. A lot of those things are available to all of us, and it helped me definitely with a deep breathing. You might see me up here take a couple of deep breaths and breathe through my mouth. So, I had to actually do the things that I was taught to do. Since I've been going through recovery, and before I feel crap about doing any of it. You know what I mean? So I had to allow the education that I was receiving from all these people and everybody in the programs to sink in. I had to really live it. It was one thing to talk about it, but I had to actually do it, Sure. Yes, sir.
I just want to get your thoughts on the telehealth program. You said that you had used it, and I also use it, but I hope that it can be expanded. So I think there's so many uses for it. Maybe you can share with some of the people because it's a lifesaver for me.
Okay. It was kind of neat, like the telehealth or move. It made it interesting to me. It was more than just feeding me a bunch of facts about how to eat right or choose different foods. It threw in like trivia questions. It was kind of different. It was things you wouldn't expect. But it was all informational, but it was neat how they did, the education part of it. Because the whole time it was you were learning stuff. You know what I mean? It wasn't just like you wake up every day and tells you eat 2 apples or eat plenty of fruit and veggies. I mean, there's practical, useful stuff that was in it. And I started to get to the point where I was looking forward to actually looking at the little gadget every day, you know what I mean? So it inspired me.
I call it my nagging wife since I live alone. I don't know about you, but I mean, if I'm depressed or I'm feeling good, I either don't feel like taking my meds or I may skip them or whatever. And they can set it up for 4 different health parameters, including mental health. And I do my blood sugars and my blood pressure every day. And at 9 o'clock in the morning, if I haven't checked in the night before, I literally get a phone call from the nurse saying, I haven't gotten your numbers today. Are you okay? You taking your meds? You waking up? You doing? So you get that daily reinforcement. Like I say, living alone, it's hard enough to get motivated sometimes, and that's been a good help. And I appreciate getting nagged every once in a while.
That's right. And I even come into the groups, and even now I'm trying to branch out and go to the American Legion, and I want to go to the VFW. Just these different veteran organizations, or just different, even support groups out in the community. I think that by stepping out like that, I received more empowerment for myself. Because everybody in this room, we all have something to offer. You know what I mean? So I just have to go out and get it. I don't think it's sense. I have to put forth effort before I think about going anyway. So I think that too is why it was CBT, through the cognitive behavioral therapy challenge, my negative thoughts that I get, that's not right, I
This young lady had a question for you back here.
Just to follow up to what she was saying, so what advice would you give, or what do you wish that outside agencies that are not part of the VA knew about vets to be able to serve veterans and their families effectively, that we just don't know?
It's a good question. Give me a second, let me think about that one. I almost think like just to show up. Sometimes, just simple things, so, you know, like thank you for your service, or, you know, just a simple phone call or a text, or you doing okay, or you all right, or, you know, if no matter the hour or time, I mean, just knowing that there's people who actually genuinely do care, and it's one thing you can call a crisis line. You know, I mean, I got a bracelet to the crisis line number on my wrist that I wear all the time. But it's almost, it would feel like it would be better if there was a intervention or a team that would go physically, face to face with the veteran when they're in a need of help. You know what I mean? Or just to talk to somebody. I think it would be better if there was one-on-one contact. I know it would be expensive to do, but a lot of vets, they don't want to call the crisis number, you know what I mean? It's like, it seems like you're just talking to a computer, and it's, you know, no emotion, they don't really care, but if you face to face, you can see how the interaction and the facial expressions, the body language with that person, you know, I think it'd be better to have some kind of a support group like that. And the point, man, it's like a family, you know. There's different organizations, Legion Riders, the Warrior 180, what's another group? Rolling Thunder, or whatever. You know, there's just different things we can check into and do. I don't know what else to say. And it's okay to accept the fact that you need to talk to somebody and say, admit that you're in distress or you do have problems. Me getting real or being honest was like the best thing I could have done, and accepted that, you know. I hope I'm not veering off of what you're asking. If I am, make sure.
No, you did.
Okay.
And I think my takeaway is just to acknowledge the fact that the person in front of you is a vet, and that person comes with a unique set of experiences. And so for me to acknowledge that would mean a lot to that person. Is that what I get?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
And that's the thing too. We all have something to offer too, whether veteran or active duty or civilian, or you know, we all have, you know, kindness or compassion that we can share to give to somebody else, or just a simple, you know, gesture like me picking up a pencil if you drop it, or holding the door open for you. You know, I mean, just little things like that kind of make a huge impact for me at times when I slow down to see the, you know, little simple things. And that too, that helped me get through college as well, as focusing. Like I started just keeping my mind, just, I don't know, it's kind of weird. I kind of trained myself to like just, if I'm going to do this class, I'm going to do it the best I can. I'm going to study the best I can. And I mean, just slow down to do that. I made it 3.8, and I was always, you know, a C student, but this last semester I made 3.8. I don't know. I just retrained my way of thinking. I don't know. I think all the services helped me be able to do that. It wasn't something that I could sit here and take credit for doing myself. I think everything, all the things I went through, factor in and make me be able to be the way I am.
I'm kind of curious because, you know, you lined out like all those different services and groups and different strategies that you've gone through to get to where you're at today. And And, you know, some of the internal barriers you had to overcome, like the not wanting to get help and all that. Like, how did you navigate all that? Like, how did you know where to go and who to, like, because that's a lot of different services that you've been in different groups. How did you navigate that?
Keeping myself open to experience new things, to keep learning something new. Because I admitted that my life became freaking disastrous when I was trying to run it all by myself and do my own thing. I tore it up. I mean, I tore up a marriage, I tore up, you know, relationship, friendships. I didn't even want to have a pet or, you know, or anything. I wouldn't even want to put the pet through the crap I was going through, you know what I mean? But I'll just try to stay open-minded and willing to keep growing and trying something new. You know, if it didn't work out, then I mean, you move on to try something else, but just continuously putting forth the effort to try to do something different, you know.
Was there anybody who kind of said, hey, there's this really good group, I think you should try this? Like, you know, how did you find out about the next thing that you went to?
I did a lot of research myself too.
Okay.
I will say that. I just kept inquiring, and even the days that I didn't want to go there on those, there's some days that I just wasn't able to even say a whole lot of anything. I just wanted to go just listen. I wouldn't say, I wouldn't talk. I would show up some days and just listen. And but I knew in my mind that, hey, you need to keep going. It doesn't matter if you don't want to go or not. You need to get up and keep doing it. You know, that's what I would tell myself. Just positive self-talk, positive reinforcement.
Well, I think also one of the things that she's getting at too is, were these services that you received, were they provided by community providers such as what we have in the room here, or were these groups that you were encouraged to participate in when you were receiving services at the VA?
Some of them were, tell you, half of it was probably the VA. You know, some of them were pointing me to the services, but then half of them were probably some of the visual things I was seeing posted up in the waiting room outside the VA too. That helped me too. The visual, seeing even out in the community, like the flyers, the papers about like the bridges, the horse program. That was something I seen just laying around. So I'm like, oh, that seems interesting. Try that. The American Legion was something I seen that was posted up on the wall showing the different dates of activities going on. VFW, the same thing. So I'd say the visual, you know, the word of mouth and the visual helped me. So VA, what they pointed me to, and you know, it made a big difference. So it was like it was, the word was being spread. It's like seeing a simple flyer.
So, for, I guess advice-wise, for some of the providers that are in here, you feel like if they were to create flyers that advertise a lot of their services for veterans, where a vet who is just going into Legion or something can see that, this would better help them be kind of educated on what each and every one of these providers, you know, can offer an individual.
I really think so, because some days I just wasn't. Somebody could be talking to me and it just go in one ear and out the other. I mean, I had days like that, you know what I mean? But in those days, I try to use another sense and visualize and look at something, you know. Like, one day I might be more aware to take things in and process information by looking at stuff, you know. Or some days listening, you know, or researching, learning also.
That's really good to know that that is helpful, to, you know, see a flyer someplace, because, you know, I think there are a lot of services out in the community that maybe veterans don't know about, and those service agencies need to get that word out in effective ways.
I agree, because I just now learned myself that Wounded Warrior is actually, there's a ton, infinite amount of stuff that they do. Like, there's things that I'm learning that I need to know that they, like, for example, they took up a guy that I know to, Luke.
Yeah, California,
There you go. I mean, everything paid for.
yeah, for the games.
So
So
this,
football, didn't he?
thing for baseball too.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's simple things like that. I mean, I had no idea, so I guess, what I'm trying to say, I guess we need to put more things out to educate people as far as, so we have the know-how to do things. I don't know. Okay,
No, that makes perfect sense.
all right.
Does the VA have a website that lists all those kind of activities?
As
And
far as
services
services
available?
available, they've got numerous websites, and they're supposed to be condensing them into just one with the new secretary. So really, I'm kind of hoping that happens pretty quick. One of the best websites that really I will utilize a lot is the benefits and the National Resource Directory. But the VA, I think at one time, if you don't quote me on it, I think there were like 8 different types of websites that were using for stuff like that. And that's just too many. And it is very difficult, you know, to find a lot of these services. I have to go to different websites and stuff. And so they are supposedly creating just the one website. So that you can find everything.
Index at the beginning with the breakdown of categories?
Yeah, kind of like when you go to the National Resource Directory, it will give you a breakdown on the left side of that web page, you know, for eligibility, compensation, housing, employment, health. There's a variety of things that you can look for. And you can search by different states, any state, any city, put in a zip code. Once you enter what it is you're looking for, we'll say for like employment purposes, you can get a list of all services available to veterans in that location. You should hopefully find, you know, work one because it is a state program, and any other type of community provider that offers these type of services. Which leads me to move on to the employment and the educational aspect. The next question would be, in your road recovery, one of the services that you found to be available to you was educational services. And if you could just elaborate on that a little bit for all the service providers.
What number was that?
Well, we kind of went through all that. But this is the one because we're in employment and stuff in here too. We want to elaborate on that since that's a really big thing with you getting your degree and stuff. So if you could just kind of elaborate on how you found out about the educational service and what you did with it.
I was to say, I thought about that one. That's a tough one there.
You went to the VA vocational rehabilitation services for the educational portion, right?
So when I went to the VA, actually I spoke with you, I believe. And you were telling me about all the different opportunities out there, Ethan, at the same time, you was even telling me about, I mean, there's so many different programs, but he was telling me about, you know, there was even a voucher, that if a person is homeless, that there was a voucher that if a person stays in a homeless shelter for a night, that he can receive a voucher immediately to get them in permanent housing. So there's a lot of good information like people they don't know, they're not aware of, but with education, that going in and talking to somebody to explain to me the different options I had, it took a burden, it took a load off of me, and so it made it easier for me to go and find out exactly what my post 9/11 GI Bill was about and what was included. Like when I didn't have, let's say, when I didn't have the knowledge about something, it was easy just to call somebody up at VA or even the schools. They had designated veteran specialists there to actually assist us with whatever we needed. That made a big difference. I like the fact that the schools had a veteran organization within the school where a group of veterans met, and we formed like a week or monthly group session where we would all meet other veterans at school, and we would form like I don't know what y'all say, it made it kind of where we had a bond, even though like me, I'm older and I felt a little out of place with 18-year-olds, 30-something, but still it was older veterans there. You know, you see different walks of life. You know, there was a guy put up in a wheelchair and was only using just his arms. He didn't have any other, you know, mobility skills. And that stuff like that inspired me to kind of push myself, seeing somebody, you know, who here he is severely handicapped. This man is still going to school, still getting educated. I mean, just the little things to start seeing like that. It gave me motivation in ways that before I didn't even see that would be inspiring. But back to the school education, I got to know the other veterans at school with that organization. The veteran specialist at school, anytime I needed anything, I would go talk to her. She kept an open line of communication with me. She would always ask me how I'm doing, if there's anything you need, to stop by my office. There was one time I even told her, like, I'd like to see if I could find somebody that could look over my papers after I write them. I'd like to have somebody that would check my work. So she found somebody for me that would go and proofread and check my work. Little stuff like that. You know, used to, I had too much pride to do it, but when I did that, my grades got better. It allowed me to have more confidence in a way. I don't know if that makes any sense. Okay. So and then there's programs like the Yellow Ribbon program, where I'm not too sure, correct me if I'm wrong, that kind of covers all your tuition or your payments, right? If you're lacking a certain amount of money in school.
Yeah, there's several types that pretty much do it. I think your degree, you successfully completed your four-year degree now.
Yes.
And I think your education was actually you went through the VA voc rehab. So they actually helped you get established, and now you've gotten your degree. And I'd like you to explain a little bit about, you know, that degree that you've got now also through the services.
Like you said, the VA, it was a blessing because what I did, the post 9/11 GI Bill, actually it gave me a living compensation, a living allowance. So every month, you know, if I was in school full time, then I'd get compensated for going to school full time. So that took off a lot of stress. I mean, that was a blessing to have income. My school didn't have that extra income to come in and pay for my gas and the books or the supplies. I mean, it made it so much easier to have that. It's kind of weird because it's like by doing the right thing, I was being blessed in ways that, you know what I mean? It seemed like everything just started coming together. You know what I mean? Like, the post 9/11 benefits, I mean, for me, I was up to 30 months I had to use that. So for 30 months, I can continuously, you know, use it up. When it's gone, there's actually still, I still have the voc rehabilitation training to use, so I can continue to use that for people who want to use it for education. So if I want to keep going to be a doctor, it's there, I can use that and keep going. You know what I mean? So it's really, it seems like there's so many opportunities that it's endless. It's up to us to take advantage of it and do it. You know, I mean, there's no excuse. There's the VA and the military they've done a great job with supplying us, you know, with everything we need. Really, we don't be the ones to do it. Yes, sir.
Yeah, on when you out process, did you find out about any of these services, benefits, et cetera, et cetera?
You know what?
Or were you in such a big hurry to get out that you ignored?
Well, I will say that they did have a transition assistance program before I got out. And that was really beneficial because it put us in contact with different employers, schools, trains, I mean, but at the time, I was kind of ready, I was, you know, motivated on when I was getting out to, I don't really know, I had so many things going through my head, I didn't take in all the information that was there, you know what I mean? So really, I think if it was like a continuous thing, or if we had that transition assistance program, maybe, you know, maybe we could go 6 times within a 2 or 3 year period. I think that probably would help out more, because once I got out, I didn't think about that transition assistance program I went through. I'm not gonna lie to you, I really didn't. All the stuff, I went through it for I think 3 days. And I didn't even take any of it in, so.
Yeah, the reason I asked was a lot of guys, they say they're in such a hurry to get out, they miss out on a lot of the medical too. They don't say, you know, I got hurt here, I got hurt there, and then down the road, it may kind of screw them over when it starts setting in at older age, et cetera.
Yes, indeed. And also too, I took advantage of getting a service representative to represent me with applying for my VA healthcare before I got out. It was called a BBD, post-benefit delivery program that I went through a service organization that helped me tremendously. So that way I wasn't waiting when I got out. I'm waiting now, I'm just now applying. No, I did it before I got out. So, because I knew I had, you know, problems and situations I needed to work, you know what I mean? So what I'm saying, that jump-started me to get the ball rolling for me in a positive direction. Even though it's still, I had to wait, you know, that's the thing. You know, I did still have to wait in order to receive my help from the VA, but I understand it's not all about me, so, you know, I just have to wait my turn. There's other veterans, you know, in need too, so.
So Ethan, will the VA assist you to get your master's degree as well?
Yes, sir, it will. I have, well, actually, I'm not bragging or anything, but I did kind of get my bachelor's pretty quick, so I still have 9 months and I think 19 days left on my post-9/11 GI Bill to use. And so after that, I've used that time, I could then, pretty sure, go smoothly into the rehabilitation program, right? So, and that's, like I said, endless, right?
Well, and the thing with the VA rehab, sometimes they don't, but if you are seeking a position, an employment opportunity, an occupation that absolutely requires the master's degree, such as a VA rehab counselor, they will pay for it. If your position does not require the occupation that you're looking for, then they're not just going to put you in a master's program and pay for it just so you can have a master's. You know, you need to really focus on what your occupational goals are going to be and where you want to go with that. So,
What if you seek a profession outside the VA that's still like a
if it requires
therapist
a
or something?
master's,
Yes.
it requires a master's degree.
Thank you.
I believe the same lady had a question.
Yes, ma'am.
First of all, thank you for your service and congrats on your degree.
Appreciate it.
Behavior science, is that what you said you?
Social and behavioral. It's an interdisciplinary studies degree with the emphasis in social and behavioral science. That's a lot to say.
So what would you like to do with that? Would you like to get a job with the VA? Is there something totally out of the realm of the experiences that you've had you'd like to do?
That's an excellent question. You know what? I'd say first I would love to be able to give back and help and work with veterans and still feel like I'm contributing to the mission of, you know, being military related. I love that, you know what I mean? But at the same time, you know, I can't be picky either, you know?
Sure.
So.
On that, does the VA push veterans to go for counseling, et cetera? Because the biggest thing I hear from Vietnam guys is, well, I don't like the counselor, you know, they're maybe Asian, we were fighting in Vietnam, and it's a big wall. So my question is, you know, first guys that came back, you know, if they, you know, they might be amputees or whatever, but they still got their head straight, they should have been pushing them to be counselors because been there, done that. Who else could a vet relate to?
Exactly right.
So,
exactly right.
So hopefully they're pushing that direction, and sounds like, you'd be great in that.
Thank you. And plus, I've researched, there is a, was a critical need for mental health professionals. It's critical. I mean, there's a shortage, right?
There's always a shortage, but we're working on
But you're exactly right. I mean, who else better than to help other veterans? I even stated in my little notes here that, when I said it a couple of times, I do believe everybody has something to offer, but veterans can help each other in ways that are unique. Being around other veterans at times when you can help lifting to me. And even within some of the organizations I've been in, I've gotten close to some of them that became friends, and there was a moment that I've had a call from one of the guy's wife, be like, Ethan, hey, this guy, I'm not gonna say names, but such and such, he's freaking flipping out. I don't know what's wrong with him, he's this and that. I said, well, you know what, I can't be there right now, but give me a second, I'll try to call somebody else. Another friend who I've met through that organization called them up. They went to the person's house and actually went to sit there and talk to him, calm him down, where he, kind of like they stabilized him enough to where, he didn't have to go to the hospital, or nothing happened, nobody got hurt or anything like that. So
They could relate.
took the words out of my mouth. You're good, man. I think you should.
Well, Adrian, what kind of possible solutions do you think, since we have some of the community service providers here, that maybe they could come up with that would assist them in their health care with veterans?
I mean, doing what you're doing right now is one major, huge thing that's been listed in my story. You guys are showing compassion and kindness and love and empathy just being here. It shows how much you all really care by showing up, and that means a lot. So, you guys too, we're veterans, and everybody here who's a vet. We all see the turnout and the support from our community. It lets us know that people really actually want to help us, and people are dedicating their lives to helping others and being of service to people. It's all a special breed of folks. Selfless. We need more people like that. But by listening, I think sometimes too, you have to find somebody that you can relate to, I guess, or you can feel some kind of connection with. You just can't go to a therapist and think that therapist is going to be the therapist that helps you through your problems. No. And I think I even might have some non-compliances in my record. But not everybody was matched. I had some run-ins with some doctors even. I'm not saying nothing, but I'm not going to say names, but I kind of butted heads, until I found somebody that I was able to feel like was a good match that what I'm trying to say, clicked with, flash with. We had interest or whatever with, you just get along. You can't just, some people you just don't get along with. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to sound negative, but just, you got a person who is all about him and you're the best of everything. I'm sorry, I don't got to get away. I don't want to sit and listen to that person because you don't know everything, or he or she. You know what I mean? So you have to find what works for you, the therapist that you know is going to help you. And I think the biggest thing is it's okay to say, hey, I don't want this person as a therapist. I want to try somebody else. And don't feel like you did anything wrong. That made a big difference to me. It was me finally finding the right people. I even told girls, man, I'm glad you came here and did this for Jesus. I wasn't my name. There was even, you know, a time where, you know, I'm not trying to throw off on nobody, it's not military related, but it was a civilian. He said something one time related to his story to the group session of the support group of veterans. And he said something about related to his story about how he gets upset when there's no toilet paper or whatever. When his wife goes through a certain day, I'm not gonna say names, but he gets upset with her because she doesn't turn the toilet paper the right way. I'm like, oh, sure, that was the only thing that I had to complain about with my wife. But I just sometimes the therapist doesn't need to try to relate to their story, try to relate to what the veterans went through, what, you know, their personal experiences, their personal problems at home. I don't think it's good to do that with, you know, especially when you have severe, you know, problems like, you know, some of the. Sometimes it's not best. It's best just to listen, not say anything about your input. I know it's your job, but when it comes to the toilet paper, you know what I mean? Kind of listen to us. That's why we're there. We need to vent to somebody. We can keep crap out of our head.
Well, and that's why it's so helpful to have you here talking with us, because, you know, as someone who's not been in the military and never been in a war zone and haven't experienced the inside of military culture and all those expectations and such, you know, there's no way I'm going to know that, like what your experience is like, without listening and learning and knowing when to shut up and knowing when I don't know something. And so, like, coming to something like this and hearing your story and learning more stuff, going to, like, the Battle Mind at Home conference that's coming up in Indianapolis, that's another opportunity. I've learned so much there. Like STAR behavioral health, this and trainings for, you know, providers. And because I know I don't know much when it comes to, you know, what that military experience is. So thank you so much for coming and talking.
You're welcome. And with that being said, I'm still learning myself too. You know, I definitely don't have all the answers. And like I said, I really think it's continuous. Like I have to continue to keep learning it and looking at things from different perspectives. My way is not always the right way. And what may help me, I can't say it's going to help another veteran. You know, I've even been through groups that I've had guys in there that, good God, I mean, so negative that hell, just being around the dude, I would get tired. He was like, he was sucking my little bit of energy that was positive out of me. That I was, God, listen, I might have to leave, walk out of the group. You know what I mean? And but what helped me was being honest and opening up. The next time I had a one-on-one session with the therapist, I told her, I was like, you know what, that guy that was in our group, I mean, my God, I don't know if he needs to be in here. It might be something happening the way he's being so mean and negative. You know what I mean? But allow myself to feel enough trust with my therapist to be able to open up and say it, helped out, you know, because that way, because it allowed her to have insight coming from the other veterans in the group to know that, hey, okay, well, if that guy's feeling that way, and I was thinking that way about the guy, and they're saying something about the guy, you know, and maybe he doesn't need to be in here right now. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like we can give you guys feedback to help our other brothers and sisters. You know what I mean? Like, what we have to offer, we, you know, might have to shuffle through a lot of this before you find one that's actually talking some sense or whatever. But I don't know. I feel like we have some positive things to get back to try to work on fixing some things. Because there are veterans who are leaders, natural born leaders that, you know, are still kind of, it seems like they're still in the chain command, even though we're back out, but they're still, like you look at them like they're your chain of command still. Oh, that makes sense. Like, there you go. but it's good. They're mentors. Yes, sir.
Since you've got your degree, have you sought employment and found employment?
Actually, I have actually put in for a few jobs. I put in for Brickwood Metals. Actually, I put in for, well, actually, what was I to say? There's another job that I'm fixing to put in for. And then actually, just a second ago, I spoke with a lady again about just a job. So, I mean, I haven't been as aggressive as I would like to have been, I will say that. But I have every intention to, send the resumes out and just keep going. Because I'm going to get turned down, the first place I put in a job application, it's not going to work. I just got to keep trying, And I know too that I have to sell myself. It's like I was talking to Daryl. Daryl's helping out with that too. I got to market myself as well. I got to see that I am somebody that would be good to, work with and, bring a positive addition to the team.
So have you sought out the community resources that are available out there to you? Do you know what they are to help you with your resume development, your interviewing skills?
Good point. Yes, sir. Actually, I have people in the VA that's helping with resumes to, correct the things and help me, make it better. The school actually had a guy there that was designated for career placement of resume help and mock interviews. I even went through a leadership course there that they had at the school that they were offering, DLI. There was like 3 phases of that. I went through 2 phases of it. And there was, I just took advantage of any type of resource I could, but I'm sure there's some that I have no clue about, so I'm pretty open. Did I answer that for you?
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
And this could just be the population that I serve, but also in my personal life, I'm friends with several military wives and things like that. But it seems like when you go to like the American Legion and the VFW, you see a few of your World War II vets and some, Vietnam vets and maybe some Korean, but you don't see a lot of Persian Gulf or Iraqi freedom. And what's your suggestion, or is there any advice that you can give to help maybe try to recruit or us to get those new veterans involved earlier? Maybe they won't hit bottom, and maybe they'll be aware of the camaraderie available to them or the services available to them if they can just even get involved socially in groups like that.
You're exactly right. Yeah, I mean, that's actually one of the things that one of the leaders of the American Legion Riders, motorcycle group, he was talking about, like, we need to try to get the younger guys in. We need to try to recruit them in and come in and join. He said, there's a barrier there, and they're trying to figure out what it is and why they're not showing up. It may be too, I wasn't ready myself, and I'm kind of referring back to me about that statement, because I wasn't ready to go to that. Here it is, I've been out since 2010, and this is 2015, so 5 years to even try to venture out. And I still don't go, like, on a regular basis. And if I go, I'm there no longer than about 30 minutes at a time, you know what I mean? So maybe they're going through things that they're not ready to step outside their comfort zone with yet, and maybe it's going to take time for them to get there. And maybe they don't want to go because of the alcohol being around. Me, myself, too, I didn't want to go for the longest time because of the alcohol and the presence of, not saying everybody at Legion's alcoholic, I'm not saying that, but there's alcohol being served there, and if you got a problem with alcohol, or you're trying to self-medicate with alcohol, then that's not necessarily the best place to go to, you know what I mean? So,
That's a very good point.
so maybe that could be a barrier that is preventing people to go, and then maybe we need to have, like I said, maybe a transition assistance program where we have people from the Legion and the VFW and the AMVETS and all the different service organizations there present at the transition before they get out of the military, so they know that, hey, anytime you got a problem, you know, call us or come join, or, you know, make sure there's somebody there who's promoting to do that and tell them about how it's benefiting and help them. I think that would help, because I didn't see any of those guys whenever I was through that transition assistance program when I got it. Nobody was there from there. It kind of took me this one day, like, why the hell is there something about welcome veterans? What is this place? You know what I mean? I didn't have a clue. I had to go physically in and talk to people myself to see what it was about, you know. But then, like I said, it took a long time for me to do that. I wasn't, I think 5 years, I wasn't able to do it when I first got out. But if we could make sure we have, you know, the leaders of the different organizations to show up and maybe even the VA and those organizations could work together to maybe the VA could maybe refer us to go there or something. I don't know. I have no idea. I don't know. I don't know. That's a tough question. I don't know what the right answer is. Yes, sir.
I think some of our, we veterans have been our own barriers, that provide our own barriers, because at World War II, they looked at the Vietnam veterans and said, oh, they're not like us, that kind of stuff. Vietnam veterans look at the Afghan, Iraq vets, and they say, oh, they're not like us. You know, we're all vets. We've all served. And combat or not, you know, we're all vets and we're all served, and we are like us. You know, so to not provide our own barriers would be a big help as well.
You're exactly right, and that's an important statement, because I just heard this recently how the Vietnam veterans are like, well, our situation in Vietnam was totally different from you guys. We didn't have the Facebook and FaceTime like you guys got, which is right, you know. I mean, then one of the younger guys was like, this is a conversation, I'm here, over here, you know. And then the younger guy was like, you know, my age, younger generation, he was like, well, we could talk once a month or whatever, whenever we got a chance once a month. But then the Vietnam guy replied and said, well, we didn't get to see anybody or talk to anybody for a year or whatever, you know what I mean? So there's differences. Like I said, the vets we are our own, we're putting up a wall ourselves. We are the same. It's a good statement. I think too, it's important for the veterans to seek something that they enjoy doing and try to keep themselves busy, and whatever that might be. Like I talked to a veteran that said like he likes to get old furniture and sand it down and repaint it, woodwork. I mean that, he said that helps him stay balanced out. Especially, he said, when he's going through a pretty rough time, having suicide or homicidal ideation. He said that keeps his hands busy, his mind, and his hands doing something. He said it helps him. So that's what I've heard, and I hope that is a good answer. I feel like I'm not giving you guys enough. You know, I don't know. Okay.
Were you guard, regular, whatever? Because I'm wondering, do you have a unit at Owensboro that you get together your old buddies?
No, sir. I was stationed in Norfolk. I was active duty, and all my time was there. Stationed in Norfolk. So none of my. Well, actually, I do have one friend. That's close. The closest friend is in Cincinnati, Ohio, and close by Indianapolis.
Well, you mentioned care teams and people coming by and visiting and that. I'm thinking what we need is more veteran community housing. So you guys would have your group there, your family there, and you wouldn't have to go, you know, Timbuktu to find somebody to talk to, because you guys are all co-located, like Lucas and like that. So is that something we need to push for more, is veteran housing?
Good point. And you know what, that would be very therapeutic. You probably own something there. You know what I mean? I don't see anything negative about that at all.
Well, I tried to get them to turn the stadium, Robert Stadium, into homeless housing. Because I mean, you could have built it there. If the guys needed to get away, they had Westman Woods. They could have put a military museum around the outside, and it could have been something great instead of a field.
Yes, indeed.
Okay, I'm gonna have to go ahead and cut us off here. We just kind of got the notice that we need to go back over to
Mitchell.
Mitchell.
Back to the big room again.
auditorium there for just a review session. I wanted to say, if you can give anybody in this room, everybody in this room, one piece of advice for working with veterans, what would it be?
I was gonna say, like, I don't know where I heard this one at, but somebody told me, an older guy, I don't remember where it was, but he said if the months become too much and too overwhelming, take it down to days. If the days become too overwhelming, go down to hours. If the hours are too much, go down to minutes. If the minutes are too much, go to seconds. And that stuck with me. That's the only thing I can say that I'd like to put out there that has helped me. And praying and meditating and deep breathing, but especially when I feel anything that's overwhelming, slowing down, like I said, breaking it down in that order, you know, that's helped. You're welcome. I tried, you guys.
You did good.
Did you bring your resume?
That's what I've been telling them. When they do their,
Gotta get one, my
they
daughter,
do their,
she's giving away on Faces of
weekend
Combat. It's
recruiting,
about
their weekend drills, their monthly drills.
people who.
I said, they gotta eat, right?